All right, gamers. They can hear me now. They can hear everything now. I'm gonna say, oh, I was about to do exclamation mark fat magic. No, exclamation mark Fool's Moon. This stream brought to you by Fool's Moon Entertainment, a lovely indie tabletop RPG company that is absolutely the kind of outfit we support and we think you should be checking out. This stream is sponsored by them, and we couldn't do it without their support. So please consider checking out their link tree, checking out their Patreon, checking out their Twitter. Just check out their website in general. They are some very cool individuals in the space. Now, this is Arcspire. Let me just give you the quick rundown, gamers, as I hit the transition button. The Arcspire is an ancient fastness run by the Concordat, tens of thousands of years old ancient alliance between humans and a race of aliens and outsiders known as the Shenta. And we see here the human-marked agents of the Shenta who are able to interact with the Eternal Hearts, which control strange alien biomes that pockmark this post-apocalyptic landscape. Three schools of thought, known as Clades, dominate in the Arcspire now, and they are the Reclaimers, the Guardians, and the Arcanists. You can use your channel points to influence their faction influence levels, which impacts their ability to get things out of their faction, and their faction's relative standing. For example, right now, the Arcanists are out ahead. This means that they have higher relative standing, and their way of thinking is prevailing back home in the Arcspire, should that become relevant to the adventure. Why not properly? Yeah, hold on. I've chopped off Pat's mouth. Let me give us a little more Pat.
More Pat. More Pat. The people demand it.
Ooh, cool background.
Back to popular demand.
Oh, you're muted in the site, by the way, Pat. Yeah, so, that is the main intro. There's also a bit menu for the show. There are several other cool things going on with the show. And as usual, you can spend channel points to give Dangerous to Go loans. We zoom now to the Mirror Clearing, where our party elected to camp the night and regain their level, plus I think con mod, or maybe it's their level, many HP. And I think we might have done that last time. And you go down. You normally wouldn't go down one system straight in the Iratu, but because the Iratu is so weak and drained here, you actually do go down one system strain. So if you didn't do that last time, you can do it this time. But yeah, you awaken in this this strange pantomime of the far side, with the dead cultist's bodies rotting and being picked at by the carrion in the morn. Rotting, fetid flesh and ripped eyes joining.
Are they
morning ritual? Yes.
Are they normal scavengers, or would they be
Yeah, they actually look like
jelly.
They look like they've flown in from adjoining lands. Normally they keep back from the Aratu, but 5 fetid corpses was just too much of an offering to turn back. And also because you're at the northern edge of the Iratu, and this is like a carved out bit. This is kind of more like regular animals might be here, and you're less likely to run. Normally, if you were outside the Iratu, you'd be a lot less likely to run into the Iratu's creatures. But you've heard reports of infradogs and other creatures ranging just outside the border of the Iratu of late, due to some strange things going on with the ecology that you investigated last time.
Gotcha.
Yeah. As we wake up, the party would reconvene. Last time we had a mix of stay-go votes on whether or not it was time to rush off to the town or hold a moment. You've devised that the charnel heart that controls Aratu's fate lies under the blackened eternal flame. And that's more or less the situation. You've also learned some other things. As we wake up here, just starting with Renric, what's on Renric's mind? What's Renric doing as he awakens after his night's rest?
He has lots of questions about why is the Charnel Heart in Pyre? What have they been doing with it? because presumably they have been doing something with it. And he's trying to think of what they're gonna do with the Charnel Heart and with the Infrarush at the end of their expedition. He hasn't quite settled everything in his mind yet.
Indeed. And Vivienne?
She's stretching, enjoying a nice moment of clean and quiet, and preparing herself mentally and physically for what's probably going to come up next, which is going to be rather difficult.
And with that, Cass Fenborn, what's going through your mind? You were advocated for rushing off to reclaim down south, but Vivienne sort of mommied you out of it. What you thinking as you arise in the early morn?
So, she awakens, one system strain lower, and with her thoughts a little bit clearer. Previously, they were fight, war, kill, eat, devour, brutalize, blah 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 blah. All the savage thoughts that she keeps at bay. She kind of occasionally flares up with as her body becomes more and more alien. This morning, she breathes in the cleaner air outside of the Aratu and breathes it out through her nostrils. Gazes upon the scene and is only thinking of one thing: how we can maneuver this to our advantage as a people and crush this foul cult out of existence.
All right.
While of course maintaining the sympathies of the people.
All right. Yeah, you wake up. You see there's a little bit more steam coming from the dark mirror of the well, and the liquid metal, although largely still, seems almost a little more viscous today somehow. But with that, it is the morning, and you are on the northern side of the Aratu. And it's kind of time to head out.
So, before everybody hits the road, Vivienne would like to take a look at the broken shard that cultist had used to injure himself, and also Vivienne, and also the mirror, just before they head out. With proper gloves and safety that I'm assuming she might be able to borrow from Eleonora.
So you want proper gloves and safety from Eleonora for withstanding what?
Seeing if the broken shard and the marionette mirror have any directly related, if one would fit in the other. If it's
so I can tell you that. So proper precautions are taken. You whip out this silvered marionette mirror with an indent for a mirror on one side and an actual glass mirror on the other, which you looked into and brain damaged yourself when you first picked it up. When you examine it, I'm going to say Eleonora is, and Rainbow is absent today, unfortunately. She's with us in spirit. Yay. I'm going to have Eleonora make a craft roll to try and work this out, but immediately it's like this is like an elongated triangle. It doesn't seem, it's like, kind of like a round hole, square peg child moment.
Gotcha. So it's too big to be a piece of something that had fallen out of the back.
Yeah. It's also just not the right shape or length, and it's a bit of glass, and it's a bit reflective, but it's also kind of see-through. With that, though, Eleonora examines it, and she would convey to you in her normal stuttering great form that this info, this mirror, right, is it seems like a conduit of some sort, as if though the one holding it can act upon one who peers within. Although nothing more specific can be gained, and this is just a theory until you test it.
A mirror theory. Well, not one to test anything before a big fight. Eleanor's going to slip it back in the bag and hand the shard off to Eleonora to hold on to, and say, "So, will we be returning the same way we approached, or?" And she motions to Renerick and Cass.
Sorry, say that again.
We've cleared the path, we might as well.
Will we be heading back the same way we came in? The same route?
Yeah,
It would strike me as the logical thing to do, conserving our efforts, going down the path we've already cleared.
yeah, I'd say that's the
Exploring
safest way.
is finished. Now it's time for war.
Well, I think that sounds like a good battle plan, as long as we stay close and attentive, and Cass is at the front.
Of course, naturally. We'll want to flank the town when we come close, though, staying in the shadows.
Now you know that it was divided by those murkied rivers and sort of like inset a bit and by the thicket of trees. It wouldn't be too easy to come out from the side. You could slip out from the Aratu down and around to the road. You could come out from the north, or you could try and make a dense pierce through the brush and over the rivers. But it wouldn't be a sure thing.
I propose we enter from the Aratu itself. We would have the element of surprise. They would be able to spy us behind.
I think that be a bit of a trek, but we have all day.
Well, coming from the Aratu is how you left straight into the Aratu from town. So coming from the Aratu is coming back the way you came. Oh my god, I spilled a whole bunch of liquid.
You good?
Continue. Yes, I'm fine. Continue this debate while I get it.
Okay. All right. So, if we're splitting up in that regard,
I would just. So the option was to go back exactly the way we came through the brush, or to go around on a road, right?
yes, I think that was the case.
So my only question would be how long the road path would take. But
It would be a logistical question to ask Lee upon Lee's return.
right,
But Lee is currently cleaning things that have spilled on Lee's desk.
If that's the case, if it would be safer on the road, I think me and Renerick should probably take that. And Cass, you make a beeline through the Aratu back, because I'm pretty sure you can handle yourself at least for a little while.
I think we still want to stick together.
Well,
we don't
flanking
wanna-
is perhaps the ideal way of doing this, but we'd have to coordinate our strike. We can't come in half cocked.
True.
Yeah, if we were to flank, I would say we do that as we're approaching, not setting off. Because it'd be pretty hard to coordinate the
I see your point.
entire separate journeys.
Yes, no, you make a valid point that we could travel the road for the most of it and then redoubt upon the Aratu itself when we arrive closer. That said, I do believe the road was more well guarded and we could be seen from afar if we were to travel on that road.
Yeah.
Well, like before, I don't think they're going to have innately hostile opinions of us on first approach, like last time.
Know not what to expect when we arrive, which is one of the reasons I've advocated for scouts.
We should invest in some scouts.
I'm of
Okay, I'm not gonna
mixed
slip
mind
into
about this.
Hello, Alexis.
So
Pass this key. Alright, so
Welcome back.
I sincerely
Welcome back.
apologize for having to abandon you there. Has the party come to a consensus?
We've actually
Mostly.
more questions than we started with.
Okay, well, you're in the Infrarush. Where do you head right now? Let me put it that way.
Well, the question is, Lee, how much quicker would it be to take the road as opposed to going through the Aratu?
It would be longer because you'd need to exit the Aratu at a different point and then get back onto the road to approach Pyre from. So because Pyre is right next to the Aratu you're on the far side of, the fastest direction is the straightest line you can cut towards Pyre.
I see. Then we may as well just go through the infra rush.
Yeah. It would take you... So it's going to be most of the day to journey through the infra rush, traveling at a good march. If you want to go around the infra rush, you're talking about potentially a 2-day journey or arriving in the night or early morning.
We'll take the day trip.
Day trip does sound better.
Yeah, we don't want to delay.
But you could theoretically get down here and then cut out into the Wildy and then come at Pyre. Anyway, point is...
Is cutting through the central slurry an option, or is that unavailable?
If you have a way to... So it is like an open swamp liquid pit of melding slurry like liquid and purplish water. Hey, Pirate Games. So if you have a way that you think that you might be able to cross that, or a plan for crossing that, that is an option. If you do not, that is not an option. You try and swim. It is a significant distance.
I'd prefer to take the known route.
Yeah, so
I think that would probably be the safest and perhaps even the quickest.
Yeah, so you're going back along
I can swim, but not feeling it right now.
Can't carry two
not
people that far.
You're also wearing metal armor and a sword and shield, yeah. So I would say you're going back along a known route. One person give me a survival with a modifier of 2, because this is a familiar route to you and you walked it yesterday.
Does anybody have a better survival?
Survival with
Survival
modifier 2.
Wisdom.
I don't have a great whiz. I should have a better survive.
So Cass leads you. Okay, well, all right. So Cass tries to lead you, and then Vivian also leads you. Generally,
Gently takes her by the hand.
In general, you generally go for like the one Pathfinder solution. You wind up doing...
the way I see it is Cass like takes point, and then Vivienne is actually the one leading. But
you wind up pathfinding by committee, and in this instance, we average it to a result of 7, which is a decent result. You're going along a known path. You retrace your steps. You cross the thin ford without great incident. You're back through the closer take on the thick foliage, and you find yourself in the thick of it. When yeah, let me fucking find your fucking tokens. When you hear a rustling in the distance, it sounds like multiple moving creatures. Yeah, you're in the tall reeds.
Oh boy!
It sounds like multiple moving creatures, and they sort of have a slurping, slapping to their movement. You guys can position yourself wherever you would like to be within the teal box, and then describe your course of action. And if you want to, you could make a whiz perception to know where the enemy are, or if they're even an enemy. You don't know what this is making this sound.
We don't have time for this.
My
sword is drawn, my shield is too.
Well, I discussed a little bit with an infrahound before. I'm not going to stay too far back.
Spirit, infra rustling.
So Wiz Notice, you said?
Yeah, Wiz Notice to scope out what's ahead, and everyone can make this.
Everyone can try and make this.
Yeah, true. True.
Alright.
Let me give it a shot here.
I see things.
Yeah, you do. So, okay. Let's take it from the bottom. Renerick, you see an infrahound looking larger than it should be.
Oh.
Chunky boy.
Oh.
Yeah, you also see, like, it's hard to make out what it is, but, you know, you feel like there might be more around, but, yeah. It seems like it's also healthier than it should be. Cass, you know that there are about 3 other infrahounds in the vicinity, and signs of a struggle. And Vivian, you see the something floating at the center, and it
Oh.
rather appears to be an unconscious pyrite woman inside the
Oh,
infrahound.
That's
Oh
concerning.
my fucking god.
And the infrahound seems very sated, large, and like it might be headed back to somewhere, but the infrahounds are sort of like moving up and flapping about their tongues, like they might be sniffing out whatever's moving around. Are you guys gonna try and like hide yourselves?
My character's not inclined to do so, but she does glance back at Vivienne.
Vivienne holds a finger to her lips and says, unless we're prepared to fight this, I don't think we should engage. We have bigger fish to fry.
I'm of the same mind.
I'd love to, I wish we could help, but I'm not sure what we could do for her, and I'm not sure what that would do for us.
Are there like will saves?
There are mental saves.
I don't know if I want to leave it up to dice. I think Cass does listen to Vivienne's. If I was farther gone, system strain wise, I would definitely make a roll for this. But yeah, I do think that she exhales somewhat audibly. Hopefully that doesn't trigger them to attack. But she hunkers back beneath these reeds.
Sure. Those who would take cover in the reeds, give me a dex sneak with a modifier of 2. Those who would hunker down not behind reeds or heavy foliage, make me a straight dex sneak. We will assume Eleanor passes because she is hanging back far enough. And additionally, Vivienne, you notice a metal canister that seems to have fallen from out of the pyrite's clutches into the ground.
Wish I could get a better look at what that was. And it's not being taken with them as they move, correct?
No, it has fallen out of the infrahound's body. It's slightly coated in a sheen of infrahound jelly flesh.
Well, I think we could give that a look as soon as they leave, since they're already moving.
All right, so
I'll make a sneak dex. I still have to roll that. Sorry.
it's all good.
My incredible dexterity.
So yeah,
Ooh.
Cass and Vivienne both crouch down and in the process step on some of the reeds in front of them, folding them down a bit, immediately giving themselves away. The infrahounds turn, and seeing you, they kind of look between each other. The one that has the pyrite inside it sort of gets behind them, leers over, and they sort of bark and bait at you, flipping their tails and swirling their tongues. The behavior is
The cleavers
strange.
cannot hide.
They are holding their ground at the moment, but they seem to be baiting. Whether they're trying to entice you or intimidate you, it's not clear. But they are not advancing at the moment. Renrick remains fully undetected, having well embedded himself further away.
Vivienne puts a hand on Cass's shoulder thorn and, in no way has any real ability to stop her from getting up, but the slight pressure might let her know not to.
She feels the slight pressure against her, and it is amplified by her own will to do as you request and stay in her form.
Alright, so you want to just stay real fucking still.
Yeah. Hold and still. Hold and steady.
I think the
Okay.
crossbow is in my hand now, though.
Alright, you got the crossbow up. And you're just gonna try and completely hold position.
For now, at least, if they start getting closer,
Alright.
I'm gonna, send
If
Cass
they
on
move
her
an
way.
inch closer, though, I'm wielding my crossbow. It's ready. And I'm ready.
Alright.
So,
Let me roll something. They attempt to intimidate and provoke you. As they bait and dance. And it does seem to sort of be, like, tickling you. Both of you make a mental save to not flinch.
Can I have Vivienne make hers first, and then
Yeah.
base
That's actually a good
my
point.
base modifiers
Response.
off of what she how she responds? Potentially.
If Vivienne succeeds, I will let... Okay, well, never mind what I was about to say.
Can I make
No.
this at a -2 then?
You can make it a disadvantage. Roll twice. Okay, never mind. You fucking fail. Okay. Cass,
dis.
Cass, which one would you have been
ironically
aiming
bad
at?
saves.
Which one would you have been aiming at?
I don't know. Which one was jiggling the hardest?
The one with the body inside of it that has like quadruple the mass they're supposed
Oh,
to.
the big one. No, okay. I think I'm gonna aim at this one, the one
The
over
mirror
here.
one.
near
Okay,
the
yeah.
thing
Pop a
that we
shot.
went
Pop a shot.
Ah, man. We got baited into this. SMH.
Yeah. So the shot goes
They
wide.
pulled player aggro. Don't see that every day.
And
These things are smart. Clever girl.
and
Clever girl.
yeah, they're
Probably
clever.
flanking
They're clever
us
enough to
too.
decide that they'd rather not die, though. When the shot flies over this Infrahound, it dashes back with a splash splash to the waters, and the other Infrahounds sort of in a defensive posture around the larger one fall back. It looks like they are deciding that they do not want to cross the river and fight you. And they leave the
Yes.
discarded
I
canister.
gave you my crossbow bolt. Answer me.
Yeah, the crossbow bolt is lost somewhere in the infrarush plot under the water. You guys are free to cross. There's sort of like the raw nerve opening water, and then there's the thicker sludge, which you don't think is as likely to disturb the biome itself.
If we can, let's avoid pissing off the swamp
Sure.
this time.
Unless you do
At
something
this-
to climb
At this
the...
point, I'm walking through the thick
Right.
sludge.
All right,
I've probably got Eleonora on my back, grabbing onto
so it's
the
a strength
spikes.
exert to cross here. Unless you want to use a rope or something. And, yeah, Renrick, you managed to mostly just stay calm and safe. Because you didn't get detected,
Renrick's
you
just
didn't
like,
get spooked.
what the fuck are they doing up there?
And I breathe a sigh of relief.
Cast
Strength
exert cross with Eleonora. Strength exert. Unless somebody wants to let across a rope or
Renrick's
something,
just
you do have climbing gear.
Fucking reclaimers.
There's
Cass, do you think you could throw back a rope for me? I'm admittedly poor in that department.
I just trudge back and grab you and put you on my shoulder.
Alright, give me another strength exert.
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to make 3 strength exerts here?
It
No, I
depends-
think Renrick figured it out.
No, Renrick, he takes like a strong, slow lunge into the waters, braces his body against the curve, and then makes it out in like 3 steps. You trudge a little bit more with your heavy armor weighing you down. You are schlicked with this red goop. You are like knee high in it, and as it sort of congeals and seeps in through your pieced armor, Cass, you give me a physical save as you just spend longer wading in it than anybody else. And you know what?
Homegirl's actually
success.
You just have a slightly dyed thigh. It's fine. You guys do notice
Ooh, I got the dyed
a
thighs.
strange-looking canister. I would say that an int no would be called for here if you'd like to examine it. And Renrick, you'd gain a modifier of 2 on that int no.
Oh.
Does
Alright.
Renrick know things we don't? What?
I do know things.
Hmm.
I know many things.
Yes.
Approximate knowledge of
I don't know what I know about this though.
Yeah.
No. One moment. Hell yeah, yeah, Vivian. Delegation, the greatest of skills.
Yeah, so Vivian, you're not so sure. It looks magic technological. Eleanor is so excited she can't even explain. Renerick, you have been in the ancient inventories. You have tread the inner halls. You have inventoried the reliquaries of the Arkspire, and you have studied its precepts and its ancient intakes and outflows carefully. You know what a fuel cell looks like.
Ooh.
Got that
That
nerd
is
life cred.
That is a repurposed fuel
Fuck
cell.
yeah.
It has been designed to take in any and spurt out any of a variety of liquids. It has sort of a lacquer to the interior of the tube, as if though stained by an ink black liquid. You are reminded viscerally as you gaze upon the tube of your nostrils and mouth and eyelids being overflowed with a terrible sensation of dark and deep and
Goo.
being splashed food.
So the tar pit.
Yeah, is shit reminded. It looks. Your best theory right now is that for some reason that pyrite woman had a modified fuel cell technology that should not exist anywhere in or near Pyre, to your understanding, and it looks like it has historically been used to store shit from that tar pit.
That's concerning.
By the way, does anybody
Weird.
look in the direction that the infrahounds went?
I put Cass on that position.
Yeah, I'll
Either a whiz perception or
Equalize
a
it.
whiz survival to give me a track on that. Omega Om TV, Pat's art truly is beautiful. Big shout out, and so is Goop's. Goop actually drew her own character.
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say,
the
can we
Infodog.
get a visual on those infrahounds?
Yeah, a quick-
I'm not the only artist in this
Yeah,
group tonight,
yeah.
actually. Believe it or not, we have another marvelous artist in the house, his house.
We stand an artistic queen.
Mad props.
It must be said. Yeah, thank you for admiring the art. It really goes far. Okay, so, Cass. You track it. You remember that there were two... So there was, like, the dual holes, with one being false, leading towards the charnel heart. Then you remember the Diavello mentioning something about, like, a blameless something? Sort of a dead heart? And when you cross-reference the direction they are headed, Vivian and Renerick think that that might be the direction they're talking about. Hey, Fangirl Review! Exclamation mark. Fangirl Review. Wonderful content.
Blameless heart? I'm sorry, wait.
A blameless.
That's going to be
Uh,
interesting.
Yeah.
Remind me of what that was.
Not the charnel heart, but
Boiling.
something boiling up from below. Something blameless.
Oh, fuck! Right. Oh my fucking god. There's something worse going on here than just the fucking Aratu.
Well, you wanna? Well, okay. Let me put it this way. I've updated your journal. You now have a new map location that you could potentially travel to. It is a slightly raised hillet. And it would seem to gather naturally around a grotto of some sort near the central slurry. And
my.
Of course, that's why that's there.
and
Well, we can't not go check that out.
well,
Yeah, I report what I see back to Vivian.
Again, we can't not. That might actually give us a bit more clues about how they're doing what they're doing, and, well,
And what
I'm being honest, what they're doing.
Yeah.
And okay, but first I wanted to examine the fuel cell a little
yes.
bit.
You take a close look at the fuel cell. You've been trained in its handling. We're doing great, Fangirl Review. Lovely, even better now that you're here. We're having an adventure in the Infrarush, this infrared weird swamp thing, and stuff is going crazy in the mystery of the night as new layers are added. So you examine the fuel cell. It seems to have been modified by someone who kind of knew what they were doing, but there's been like markings and fuck-ups on this very strong alloy, as if though the person doing it, one, is very strong, and has skin that can scratch metal, and two, as if though they were doing what they were doing more out of rote memorization, as if though maybe this is the first time they'd actually fucked with the fuel cell, unless like they were someone who's had experience with this ancient magical technology.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, anything else you'd like to examine or try and take note of or determine?
So first, just to clarify, this fuel cell, is it like the original purpose of the item? Is it just a battery?
So the fuel cells, I mean, the people who really had first-hand experience with like using these things properly lived and died 30,000 years ago. So your best understanding as a scholar of the Arcspire is that there were a fuckload of these hooked up to the ancient engines deep below the Arcspire, and that they were part of the engines and they were part of fueling it. And they are also found in other machinery that wasn't spaceships. And that they stored liquids used in reactions. But there's a simple modification one can make to make them more or less spray like a hose. And this particular one seems to almost have, like, as you look at it, like a flint and tinder style, like, notch in it that would almost seem to spark as you sprayed something out of it.
Did we just find a flamethrower?
Flamethrower.
Well, it shouldn't have a great projection range unless it was hooked up to some sort of hose or other device, but it seems to be some sort of incendiary device. You haven't tried lighting that tar on fire.
Well, I don't really want to mess around with it too much right now. But how big is it? Would it be difficult to carry around?
It is one encumbrance.
Okay.
It's pretty. It's like the size of a human torso.
I would like to take it with me.
+1 fuel cell with traces of tar added and modified nozzle added to your inventory. One encumbrance. Your party members have suggested to travel forward to the grotto. Do you accompany?
Yeah. I'm very curious.
All right.
Okay, wait. All right. Oh, we're right there. Never mind. I was gonna suggest that we might put out a spy to go the rest of the journey and then see how Pyre is shaping up, but I think that's imprudent considering the time frame and how proximity-wise the grotto is much closer.
Sure. You approach from the west of the grotto through the raised, more wooded segment. And, if you guys would like, you could either appoint one person to lead you in this to make a single dex sneak, or dex survival, or you could all individually take them, but you can't have one person roll, see they did shit, and then roll your own. You've got to commit.
True. Well, I'm terrible at all of the above, so I vote someone else take point. Is anyone else good at dex or survival?
I am decent at dex.
And remember, it can be sneak instead of survival at your preference.
Yes.
So dex sneak, you said?
Yeah.
I can do that.
I think that might actually be for the best.
And would you allow an expert reroll on this?
Yeah.
Sweet.
This would count as the scene that you spend at the grotto, but yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see what I get.
That's decent.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, you approach. You're taking point. You guys come upon a grotto surrounding a gash in the earth, which boils over with more of that tar stuff than you see in any one place. Like a picked open scab on the land. As the ground descends, you see it change texture, tone, and direction. And the reeds grow purpler and purpler. And there's something deep and dark here, and the infrahounds are here as well. They seem to approach and slurp out the pyrite, and they begin to set about doing something as they like lower her into the pool. But then you see a tremor, as if though a massive rock had been dropped into the middle of it.
Oh boy.
The infrahounds go stock stiff and then sprint away. They are terrified. The pyrite, unconscious but not dead, is left half sunken within, and the water trembles. What do you do?
Oh, this person hasn't been dead. Okay.
So yeah, it looks like
I
when the
feel so
infrahound
worse
reduces
that
someone to 0, it doesn't kill them outright.
Definitely fucked. I kind of start to stand up as if to ready myself to rush in there. Got my sword in hand.
Cass,
Renerick would try to guess at whatever the heck might be in a pool of tar.
Give me a hint, no. Okay.
Yeah, I'm standing up.
Mhm.
Sword is in hand. Shield raised now too. I'm
Right.
inhaling.
Vivienne, what about you?
Cass, if you go anywhere near that, you need to get back out as soon as possible. If that means dropping the woman, if something goes wrong, if she's slippery or you slip or something, I need you to put yourself first.
Take my shield. I'll need
Sure.
one man free.
Alright, so Renerick, you develop a very quick theory here. So the historical records of this Aratu indicate that it has occasional tar geysers, much rarer than what you've been seeing. People speculate that this biome is like an acidic land over a geologically distinct form below it that exists in a symbiotic relationship. And when it's functioning properly, it filters out so much non-acidic stuff down through the soil to the lower level that it can congeal at the lower levels and form what is essentially a form of hyper-fast fossil fuel. And that the natural environment of probably there was probably not a plate tectonic system on the planet that this Aratu belongs to. There was probably a plate tectonic sea. And that sea was probably made up of what is functionally alien oil. You think you have just found...
God, they have oil here.
You think you have just found black gold.
God, that is a little funny.
And this black gold contains something which feels in a spiritual way strangely pure, in a way you can't put a finger on, but when you think of the Diovello using the word blameless, it just somehow feels right to you.
Blameless.
Yeah, in fact, Vivienne, make me a whiz. Yeah, okay. 60 feet. You just dash in. Give me a dex exert to dash in, Cass. And Vivienne, roll me a whiz magic as Cass boasts off. Renrick, you can say whatever you want.
Takes out.
And she'll hear it. But Viv, you're gonna get your knowledge after Cass has already made her sprint. Okay, yeah.
Oh, boy.
You hop down, you trip and like stumble here. Give me an evasion save.
Oh no.
Viv, you don't really get insight
we're all
here.
bad at.
Cass, you are face down in the dirt.
Good dice.
Thank you for the
It's
water.
really hard to succeed on
Learning.
saves in this game.
It
Yeah,
is,
saves
yeah.
are terrifying.
The liquid, the black heart of this grotto boils up, and something emerges, lashes, flap out across the water, draw in the tar, rise, a pure, shimmering black gem at the forehead of this emerging entity. A soul. Second time I have knocked over this fucking mug. Holy shit.
Oh my
it was
gosh,
empty this
please
time.
stop.
I put it
No,
away.
I need to give you a water to leak. And also,
I drank.
be a dangerous to go.
Oh, dangerous to go alone. Pat, you managed to stand up just in time as your oh shit butthole clench danger senses kick in. As emerging from the tar arises the Blameless One. Its tendrilled horns slapping and flapping out through the waters. You think that this is less a creature and more a vibrant physical liquid extension of the pure black gemstone, the obsidian silict entity. And if you were to destroy the ephemera, you could seize it, and you would have what you could only describe as a blameless soul. A soul without predilection or guilt. A soul that could reset the clock one way or the other. To heal or harm. You'd have to kill it first. And the Pyrite, meanwhile, the Blameless One extends a tendril and coils it around the Pyrite. Cass, you spend too much time standing up. It is seized upon by the Blameless One, which seems to move animated by no animosity, no hunger, no need to hunt, merely its nature. Subsume.
Oh shit, dude, same.
And yeah, homies, the assembled homies, please describe to me your course of action as the Blameless One seizes upon the Pyrite.
Well,
back here
first,
right
holy
now.
crap.
Oh. This thing towers. It's huge. It's 15 feet across. It looks like it can strike you after 10 feet away. And it doesn't look like anything's slowing it down.
Here, now.
Cass, this unconscious woman is being lifted up towards the thing's body.
So, Renrick, I presume, has some sense of the nature of this being and the fact that it has this blameless soul.
Yeah, you are all certain that if you were to defeat this entity and wipe away its ephemera, you could seize that pitch black jet and have a blameless soul. You are presently at 0 deployable souls as you rush towards the Charnel Heart, casually minder.
I figured we would just pick someone up along the way, but...
I mean, you could just human sacrifice someone, it's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Well...
Yeah, so my move is going to be to rush back, I think. Do I have to make any
you have to make
rolls?
you have to make a dex exert to skadoodle your way up to those fucking tree line. The Blameless One is like embracing the Pyrite and beginning to turn its head in many tendrils, whipping around towards you.
That's not a good roll.
Oh, you grab, you put both hands up, you grab, you flip, you fall prone, and you leave your longsword on the ledge above in the process as you fall, leaving you weaponless and defenseless. That
is a bad roll.
Yeah, so that's what happens to Cass. Renrick and Vivienne, describe what you'd physically do in about a turn's actions as the Blameless One rounds upon your now prone friend.
Vivienne's going to walk forward.
You hop down 5 feet when you cross this threshold.
So
I presume I presume Vivienne
yes.
hops down Z levels only via dignified Mary Poppins hop with a click of her heels.
Yes. She steps up to it, pauses, and then takes a short hop downwards. But she raises a hand and almost in the sternest way possible, she says, "Stop. Hold still." And she invokes the shackles of the ineluctable shackles of volition.
Oh, fucking right. Let's fucking go. What's that save?
That is a magic save with a penalty equal to my magic skill, which is 0.
So, okay, yeah, so it doesn't matter if the NPC...
It's a magic save.
Yeah, alright. What was the penalty on that?
On!
It had no positive modifier to that. That's a
Sage
nat
really
20.
suck.
It's a
Natural
nat 20!
20.
Does anybody...
Fantastic.
I would just note, normally the rerolls are for players, but if somebody gave Vivienne a reroll, I could force the Blameless one to reroll its save. Otherwise,
we might be able. We might. I don't think this is a bad end quite yet. I still have a few tricks up my sleeve.
Okay, but so you cast a spell, you release the inviolable shackles, descend, grab at its tendrils, and then meld into it, and the golden light shatters as it thrashes away and turns its head up to leave an enraged roar. That's what you've done with your bit of movement in time, Renric. You got 2 reclaimers, one all the way in the ditch, one halfway in the ditch. And the Guardian, like, peace up behind this bush. What are you doing as this scene unfolds?
You really could just let us die. It would be Carmen.
That would make you the Arcanist that you are.
Wow, rude. My problem is I don't have very effective tools for big eldritch horror.
Mm-hmm. You don't have...
I basically just have a stick.
Run up and make a full defense.
Well, Renric, I would just note that you do have one tool. You know that tube? That fuel cell? It does look like it's designed to scoop that thing's body. I'm not going to say it would be easy to deploy in a combat scenario, but I am saying it could have effects. If you got into melee range.
Okay.
Oh, because you have the canister. Okay. Yeah. That could do some.
Alright, so what I'm going to do here is, seeing Vivienne move forward, can I get far enough to try to assist Cass?
Yeah, you can drop down. Do you want to try and help her up, or do you want to throw her down her sword?
I want to try to help her up.
Okay.
Choke slammer.
Okay, so you're down here, and you have a readied action. And the moment Cass's turn comes up, your readied action can be expended for her to climb up. But now everybody gets to roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Alright. Let's see. So I have advantage on my initiative rolls.
Nice. That's actually super useful.
So roll it twice, take the better one.
Oh my god.
Alright, so I'm assuming you want to take the 7, right?
Well, I'm
fucked.
Okay, so
you and me both. I can do that spell again and maybe it'll work, but at the same time.
So Renric, no. I'm gonna say, so you had it readied up before, so I'm gonna say what happens is actually you help Cass up. You help Cass up, and then you have a full turn because you'd already readied this before you rolled initiative. And Cass is you get pulled up and like, yeah, I'm gonna say you're standing. Why not? Honestly, Renric, give me a strength exert to see how good you do helping Cass up.
Alright.
Because you're like pulling her. Okay, yeah. You do a good enough job that she's up, but she is prone. Renric, you have a full turn from here. The creature the entity really is eyeing Cass, and now you, with, you know, a blameless expression, as if though what it's about to do is not driven by malice, merely its nature.
Okay. So I have this canister, which has some kind of flame-related mechanism on it, but I haven't really tried using it yet.
It's empty.
So what I'm gonna
it seems to be the ignition seems to happen when it spurts a liquid.
Okay. Does it have any liquid in it currently?
No, there's just residue that looks like this black liquid that the Blameless one has emerged from. But it's residue.
Okay. What I'm gonna do then is go over here.
Oh, you hop down. You come up to the edge of the pool.
I hop down, and I'm going to try to fill up the canister with this black
Holy
liquid.
shit. You pull back
You
the
know what?
lever. You scoop up. Give me a dex exert to see how fast you scoop, baby.
I never expected a super soaker fight to be how we fight the boss.
Let's see.
Take this. It's a super soaker filled with cat piss.
Dex exert. Here we go.
This is, you know what?
You get
This
it done
is our
in one
beach
action.
episode.
And the Blameless one rears up, lets out a howl, and slurps the pyrite into its body, and then lumbers up to right here, adjacent to both Renerick and Cass. And
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
yeah, so it's gonna try and headbutt Renerick.
Good luck.
Did I secret roll that to myself? Yes, I did. Alright, well, I'll roll it publicly. Alright, homie, I'm gonna be real with you. I was hoping that he'd miss when I did the public roll. He
Fuck
still,
yeah.
he still hit. Your AC is like 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you take 2 damage. Give me a physical save.
Oh boy.
I think we can do this. I think we'll be okay.
Uh-huh. You are knocked back
I,
15 feet and busted onto your ass amidst the reeds.
I appreciate the vote of confidence. It is more confident than me.
I
Alright.
think if one thing doesn't fail, then we can.
The
hopefully
tendril
turn this
grab
around.
slaps down onto the middle of Cass's form with a slap against her armor and gets a positive modifier because she's prone.
Oh, boy.
Hold on, I fucked up by putting the
Wait, didn't
plus
she
sign.
stand up, or did she get prone again?
She's still prone at the moment, but it misses, and you're
Oh.
not within the shock damage range. Yes, it does get 2 attacks per turn. Cass, it is your turn. You're down on the ground, you're getting thwapped at, you're in threat range with a Blameless one, and shit is getting hairy. What do you do?
Oh yeah, grab my sword and get the fuck out of Dodge. I think is the rational decision here.
Alright, you grab your
I-
sword, you
I
stand
do try
up.
to be rational.
Is Cass a rational actor? I'm not so sure.
That is the question.
And Pat, I think you don't have your shield with you, right?
Nope.
I don't have
So
my
your
shield with me,
your
yeah.
effective AC is 14 right now, and you cannot block the first shock damage you take. Although I don't think that'll be relevant to this fight because you are shieldless. Okay,
Yeah.
so you want to try and
need
take the
shield.
withdraw action?
Yes. Stand up, grab my
Alright.
sword, withdraw.
All
Fighting
right.
withdraw.
Make a fighting withdraw. I don't think that's a test in this system. I think you just do it.
She's
However,
a survivalist.
Cass, you got a choice. You can pick up the sword and chance getting hit, or you can run without your sword.
Nah, bitch picks up her sword.
All right. Well then, it is gonna op you at the 10-foot range.
I got it.
All right. So where do you want to go? You wanna brace north?
Yeah, as direct as I can.
All right. The Blameless one tries to give you a cheeky slap on the back as you go. You're not prone
Must
this
be funny.
time. And that misses your AC by 1.
Hell yeah, that's what we like to see.
And you keep running.
Fucking hell!
You scramble
yeah.
up the
Alright.
ledge. There's civil terrain if you want to climb up that ledge, though.
Yeah, do you need me to make an exert here?
No, you just spend double movement. Yeah, you only get to the lip. You get right here.
Alright, then I come over here then. And that's
Yeah.
oh yeah,
All
sorry,
right.
then I'll just be here. Yeah.
Vivienne, the Blameless one is an angry goat down in that hole, and Renric is presently down there, possibly about to have a bad time. What do you do?
First, back up. Let's get the hell out of here. I'm going to move 5 feet back up that ledge, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet back up there. Because apparently spells don't have range; they just have like line of sight, which is crazy cool.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow.
And I'm going to do the same thing as I did last time. I'm going to use some of my exertion, some of my effort, and I am going to force it to once again roll me a magic
now,
save.
can you tell me what the spell description says this is supposed to look like, or should I just be making shit up?
It's the ineluctable shackles of the lit.
Do you have a button that'll throw out the
I don't
text?
think it describes. I don't think it describes it.
Golden shackles descend from the heavens in all direction, and you seek to enslave the mind and leave it dazed but obedient. It is going to make that save again. It's going to fail it by 1, and
Yes!
you tell it again
Fuck
to
you!
hold position, and lo and behold, it does. It is holding position. That's your turn. You moved your back to Renric. You're on your back. You hear her cry out. You see the golden shackles descend and seize upon it this time, rimming the jet black diamond. Tell me, Renric, what do you do?
Wow. Well, Vivienne, I'm impressed. So first I get up, and what does that cost me?
To be fair, Madeline, I did think it was hold person. So you, I'm gonna say just half movement to stand.
Right.
So you got 15 feet to play with in the tank.
And then would I know the conditions of this shackles spell? Like, for example, if I attack it, does that break the spell?
That's a great question. Do you know that answer, group?
I am looking that up right now. Such victims will obey any physical commands issued by the caster, barring ones that seem suicidal or patently meant to result in their murder. I cannot order them to answer questions or perform acts that require independent judgment, nor to use non-physical abilities or spells. It will fight for the caster or to defend its own life. So if you hit it, it's liable to hit you back. It won't break the spell, but it will still hit you.
Yeah. It's up at next initiative, and it will act to defend itself. But for the moment, it's holding position.
Renric, I suggest you take a step backwards.
What if we?
Okay, so seeing that it's not moving, I will take the opportunity to retreat. Let's see how far. Whoops. Wrong thing.
I believe you can tap your action to move further 30 feet. If you'd like to after moving 15. You want to beat a... Yeah, this is the stuff, like, because you see if you go like this, you're still going up elevation, but it's not difficult terrain because you're not having to clamber a ledge.
Gotcha.
Renric, grab some of the goo in that vial before you leave.
He's got... You see he's got a goo-filled canister.
Yeah, I did already.
Yeah, so it seems like that is more or less the terminus of how far... Wait, no, I'm full of shit. 15 feet, then a further 30. You could have to technically 60, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go over here. And then I'm going to say, guys, I think we're going to want to take this thing down.
Let me try and speak with it first. I have an idea or so.
Refreshing perspective. I agree with Renric.
Well, you can agree with Renric after I've had my say, or I can let it go and have it eat all of us.
No, please, by all means.
Go ahead.
The floor is
So
we
suspend initiative order because the Blameless one is presently incapable of acting against it, and I don't think there's any condition that comes up to give it a further save. So
yes.
It is stood there holding position. Its tendrils seem to wander, its mind seems to wander. You're not even sure what kind of a mind it has. It feels like an embodiment of some sort, but you failed your whiz magic, so you don't really know. You come right up to it. You're
Not
well
like
within
force.
tendril and headbutting range. You stand before it. It
Huh?
hulks over you, even standing a ledge below. It is double your height, starting at the ground you're standing on, with a further 5 feet below. What do you do?
Blameless one, can you please deposit the person you recently consumed?
It, you see a fulmination in its chest, and it spits out directly at you the pyrite. Make an evasion save.
Oh boy, you cheeky bugger!
You weren't specific enough.
Naughty, naughty.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I gotta
so
get with it.
Viv.
1d4 damage.
Oh no.
Roll a 4.
You don't take any damage. You get knocked over and splashed a little with it, though. Do make me a further physical save.
Oh boy.
As the black substance she's coated in splashes on your skin almost seems to grow more alabaster and firm, and you gain 1 system strain. The Blameless one looks down at you, but the eyes look more like pantomimes of eyes. They're no portal to any soul. What you see is the jet at the forehead. That seems to be the entity. Everything else is just some sort of projection. Some lattice work of foam meat and black stringy liquid. Like
Now, Blameless one,
a licorice demon.
You can't answer questions, and I'm not even sure if you can speak. Cass, it's perfectly, patently all right. Can you come grab this person?
Well, I think you can't compel it to answer questions, but you can still try talking to it.
Alright, I come over here grabbing her. I'm carrying my lit torch now, by the way. In one hand.
It says I cannot order the creature to answer questions or perform acts that require independent judgment. I guess it could ask, but it would just answer on its own volition.
Yeah. Exactly.
If it can talk, I mean, we don't know. Blameless one, can you talk?
It does not respond. Give me a charisma convince.
Oh, I'm good at this. I'm very scary good at this.
Alright, so in basically Cass, you can retrieve the pyrite and leave her in the attentive care of Eleonora. While this is happening, Renrick, are you doing anything as this unfolds?
I'm gonna go ahead and be here.
I'm
Ooh.
going to meet up with Eleonora, but otherwise I'm just kind of watching from a distance.
The Blameless one sort of like puts its forehead out and extends, like it like presents the gem to you. You feel like it's perfectly palm-sized, as if you could reach out and touch it.
Can I reach out? And, is it within reach?
Yeah. You reach out, you touch it, and in that moment, you get Mass Effect beaconed. You see flashes across the void.
Oh.
A billion bright burning stars blinking out one by one. Meat-filled, alloy-ribbed halls. Demons across the void. Burning. Destruction. A pink world below. The glittering of C-beams off a gate. And you roll me a mental save as everything rushes down and you feel a knowledge in the goo.
Oh boy. All right. Let's see. Surely this will be a success. Sure.
Shackle this, motherfucker.
Yes, it
What?
is.
Finally! Oh my
shit.
god!
You see through it and you feel the beating, flowing black blood heart of a planet countless, inconceivable eons away. Thank you, Snow Dogs, and thank you for the shout out on Twitter. And you feel it deep churning in your gut. The Blameless One is merely an expression of this ecology, twisted by machinations beyond its nature. It grows, it flows, it is, self-contained and content here, an oasis in what is to it a desert world, too poor in acid, and rich in vile things. It seeks only to return to a subliminal bliss and nothingness. It has been wrenched up into consciousness by a cruel reflection, caught in the prism of a mirror's edge, running along the wall of eternity. It longs for grander purpose, to be inserted once again. It cannot descend to the depths where it was meant to be, as if though a black diamond made by the pressure of all this swirling liquid mass fed from above. The ruptures, the unnatural breakages in the land imposed from beyond. The Aratu must be healed, and if you take the Blameless One, and you heal this Aratu with it, you feel as if you will return it perfectly to as it was. No riders, no complications. A blameless white peace. From the heart of the true beating black heart of the jet. But it senses the potential for treachery within you, because it too could fully evaporate, strip bare this land, with no complications and no riders. Down through what would be a tectonic plate, you will leave a fucking crater where nothing can grow and nothing can live. If you destroy it, you will destroy the flow of the rivers to the sea. You will wrench open the earth. Erosion will surely set in, and as the ages pass, it will become a wretched quarry landfill. But it will be gone. Down to the jet black seas below.
Well, as a reclaimer, I am normally pro Aratu removal, but I've seen the resources this place provides, and if healing it will simply make it more manageable, that's not terrible.
Indeed, you do believe that any means can be justified by the ends, and if this helps you reclaim this world, then it's not outside the Reclaimer's ideology, if not within the mainline thinking.
And Vivienne is anything but a follower of thought thinkers.
Indeed. But the Blameless One, even in its present state, does have a certain apprehension. You command it, but it does seek to know your intentions. It wants to know. It knows you are marked. It feels it. As if though the blood of the dirt below flows in you in some way that it flows in it. You feel kindred spirit here in some sick and twisted way as your skin grows shinier and with less sensation, firmer. Tell me,
Now,
Vivienne, at this moment, if you were to say that you intended to heal this place, would you be lying?
I would not actually.
Well then, you sense it. It cannot act without your direction, but it feels as if though it seeks to dismiss this ephemeral form and come with you.
Blameless One, as long as you do not see this as an endangerment to your life, would you please deposit yourself in my palm? And she reaches out her hand to the Blameless One's head.
Slurps off everything, and a black diamond emerges in your palm. All that is left congealed there, well, by its the sticky residue. It is prepared for transit, and you to transit it. You
And
have
that
in the
is how
palm of
you-
your hands a soul.
And that is how you deal with a temper tantrum.
Indeed.
Shit.
Yeah. By the way, you notice at the edge of the clearing, there's several flapping tongues. It looks like the grotto. It seems like some of the infrahounds from earlier came back to scout it out, and after witnessing it do that, they just sort of like cower at the sight of Vivienne and retreat.
That is probably for the best in their case.
All hail the new queen.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet. Say that again.
You didn't hear it from Ren.
Okay. Very, very funny joke, everyone. Ha ha ha. Well, we have a date with an Aratu and a charnel heart, I think, and I think we have the tools to take care of that.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Yeah, you have the resource. Yeah. So you guys pack it in the grotto.
resources.
You've got into. By the way, Renric, after the battle, Eleanor would offer to heal you. He will cause you one system strain, but she can just put you back up to full. Do you accept it?
Sure.
All right, and does that put you over 25%?
It does not. It puts me at 2 out of 11.
Well, you do feel your throat getting a little gravelly, but you know, you're doing fine. There's also a pyrite she manages to resuscitate. She's very delirious and can't say much other than, I have to return with the holy oil, like Galvan said. Curious. She's not available for
Extremely.
further questioning. Her mental state isn't fully available for that.
Is she normal looking, or because like I
She
do
looks
recall
like
last
a-
time somebody was dumped in this for a prolonged period of time, they were turning planty or something.
Yeah, so, doesn't seem to have undergone any physical changes, and Eleonora did a thorough job of scraping her clean. She doesn't seem good for having endured it, but she's alive.
Well,
I
there
will
doesn't
have
seem to be any
questions for
medicinal
Galvan.
properties.
Yep, you
Oh,
will.
we will have many questions for him if he survives.
So, you guys are in the infra rush. The infra rush. Feel the rush of the infra.
I've been trying not to make that joke. It's so good.
Right? Feel the rush of an infrared swamp below your feet. So, how do you... So, I'm assuming you guys just take the path you already know. You've already made a survival roll. A 7 is decent. You move now with an extra purpose and an extra wounded civilian in tow. And Cass, I'm assuming you resume your sword and board stance to return to your full 15 AC? And Renrick, you have 10 AC, right?
Yeah.
I just don't have it on your token for some reason. I fixed that. Alright. Yeah, so the group gets to the Thin Rushes just outside of Pyre. If you'd like to make any alteration to your approach, now would be the time to do that. Otherwise, it's a jaunt into town.
I want to get a look and see.
I
what's-
think we talked about scouting ahead.
Yeah, either Renrick or I should do it, and I think Renrick's probably the more equipped.
So, yeah, sure. Renrick, do you want to give me a Dex Sneak or a Dex Survive to creep up on the edge of town?
Yes, I will sneak. Let me re-roll that.
Yeah, alright. And you do have a pirate
Nice.
woman at 0. Okay, so the party box you can ignore for the moment. So yeah, so the Spire Center back here, Renrick, you creep up on town very well. You're up on a rock behind a tree, and you see a group of people with a variety of strange animals in tow who have entered the center of town. There's a lot more of them to the south. They have what look like campfires. It is getting later in the day. It's not too weird if they're traveling caravan. They sit down. And there's a woman who's standing in front of Galvan, not happy. That is a very immediate... They are looking at the black fire, and they are not happy. These are Aratuans, returned to make their yearly pilgrimage to the eternal flame. It is not as they left it last year. They are not pleased. They and their strange Aratu-adapted animals are gathered. They are aligned with the gear necessary to survive in the Aratu, as well as various strange alloy and animal bone weapons. All of them seem to have a bow at their hip, either strung or not, recurves. They are a people born to the saddle, but also capable of sprinting with the endurance of a horse. They live traveling the Aratu. They are amongst the hardiest of trader folk, and this otherwise pleasant merchant caravan who normally rolls into town to trade seems to be having strong fucking words with Galvan. Galvan seems to speak much less than they do, and not in a way which pleases them. The woman out front seems to be trying to be diplomatic, but is increasingly displeased. Cascare has his hand on his hilt. The Pyrites are gathered, clustered tightly. It's a tense scene. And give me a whiz notice. to scout this and also the far camp.
All right.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. It almost seems like they've pitched up not tents, but like metal braziers to start their flames in the camp. That's interesting. A lot of arrows. And here, you see that the pirates are clinging to various peasantish weapons like maces, daggers, pitchforks, clubs. They are hopelessly outnumbered. There are perhaps dozens of souls here. There are maybe 200 Artuans in the whole caravan.
God damn.
200.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. The pirates are outnumbered, huh?
The pirates are quite outnumbered. And
Oh, how the turntables.
indeed. Galvan, you can't make out what's being said unless you try and creep closer. It's the same scene. You won't have the reroll. Unless somebody donates 500 bits on the bit menu to give you a reroll. But not your mechanical reroll for being an expert.
Right. Let's go for it.
Do it.
Alright, you creep
All
closer. And you overhear Galvan being chastened, and this woman says, "Listen, vacate the flame, and we can discuss an agreement where your permanent settlement and our caravan coexist. And both use the flame as a place of worship, but we cannot accept you tainting our holy site." And the pirates sneer and veer this and say, "The Blackfire Pact is the proper religion, and submit yourself before the Blackfire." And the other Artuans are perhaps ready to trade blows over this. She raises a fist as if though to say, "Hold," looks at Galvan and says, "I suggest you consider your people's future before you offer your next response, prelate. Because this little parsonage of yours is nothing. The ancient bastions of alien make, which my people pick over as yours might a chicken bone, nor the great and terrible metal sand wastes, which abrase a man's skin from his bone an instant whip, which we travel as if though another hailstorm. My people have tread the lands for aeons, before humans remembered the foolish ways of pitching stone tents. And we will be here after you. The only question is if your sidecar will be one of desire and plenty, or disaster and ruin. Now then, I have offered you diplomacy. I have even offered you the secrets to purge this flame. How say you, Galvan?" And Galvan looks down and says simply, "The Blackfire Pact does not surrender flame." But whether or not the villain just said the word sidecar, Mithridates, is really a, depending whether you think the cool cats of Puritan Town who have taken over this holy site, or the people who are cross about their holy site being tainted, are the villains in this story.
I say they're both villains because they're on land that needs to be a crater right now.
So, Renric...
Oh man, tourism versus colonialism. Who will win? Who will win?
So, Renric, you notice this conversation, and she says, "I give you a generous day. Right now, the sun hangs below the ridge as it cuts here, and the sun slices. Come that time, you will either have accepted my offer, vacated this squat, or know the price of making us your foe. We have left at the edge of town a week's bounty. Food, travel easily with your small group wherever you would care to resettle. Take our generosity before you learn our price. And with that, she spits, draws a giant, what looks like a giant tooth of some sort, slams it into the ground. You see it smeared in a red substance and that her palm has bled a little. She bandages it, ties it off very directly at him, and says, "This I vow." And with a wave of her hand, the Aratuans mount up on these strange alien creatures as if though from a far moon world of shallow seas, and ride away. Yeah. So yeah, the Aratuans return to their camp, and the pirates gather up before Galvan, who gesticulates, his coat billowing. His coat and clothes contain much. In fact, could you give me a... He gesticulates with his black glove-clad hands. Could you give me a whiz notice, Frederick?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Got black gloves. Got a cool cloak. Anyway, he leads with Cascare, shepherding people behind him, more or less the population of the town to the prayer house.
Damn it, I was really curious about those gloves too.
Yeah. Curious. I'll give you this. You didn't remember him wearing gloves the last time you visited. I'm assuming you would draw to the party and inform them of what you've seen here, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I sneak back out.
So what's you thinking? What's you inking, party?
Yeah, I just tell them the whole spiel of we got conflict brewing.
Got trouble in River City. Trouble that rhymes with T that stands for travelers? Yes, sorry.
Sure.
What to make of this? Well, I believe they would. The Aratuans are surely much more on our side than the cultists are if they want the place repaired.
We need to vacate the city. Better opportunity than the army.
I didn't catch everything from Pat.
Yeah, Pat, you might want to say that again.
Consider we need to base this final landscape.
Now, we don't need to be that that quick about it.
My internet connection is really real. I need to erase this vile blight on the landscape.
Now, Cass, when you claim to be a reclaimer, what is the goal of our sect? Not to destroy, but to reclaim. I make the argument that this Aratu is naturally quite productive in materials that are rare in this land.
Yeah, I would actually also give anybody here a whiz or int no.
Faction is on our side. Use the convoy.
Pat, you seem to be choppy in your audio.
Yeah, you keep cutting out. Okay, no.
That is a no to my no.
Okay, so Renrick and Cass and Pat, you're hearing me okay, right? I might have lost Pat completely.
Pat's dropping out.
All right. So okay, I will just say this. So Renrick and Cass, you know that the infra rushes, which is what the reeds are called, like the rushes, right? They can't be digested by a human. They're poisonous. They're poisonous to regular Earth cattle, Earth. You live on what is sometimes called the dirt. You actually don't know if this planet is Earth or not, and that's not a word that would be super meaningful to you. But on this dirt, the things which would appear to be natural to it cannot consume the rushes. But flora and fauna from various Aratus can benefit from what's here. And if one had,
Can
say,
we eat the
a
animals from them?
herd of animals from different Aratu, and one needed to graze that herd, this would be an excellent place to do that.
Got a lot of plants. Can you eat Aratu animals? Is that something that's done?
Some of them.
Okay, so there is a possible like hypothetical way to start.
The vast so the infrarush is one where like the vast majority the answer is no, you will kill yourself with acid. Hey Pat.
Welcome back. Maybe.
Pat, you catching me?
Maybe. I don't even see them back.
I see her. Pat, hello? I'm assuming she can't hear me. She stop moving? No, moving. I see your face. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, pat, pat. Alright, so anyway, that's what you know. Shit. Okay, that's what you guys know.
Okay. Here's another crossroads, I suppose. Well, Renerick, what do you make of all this, being an arcanist?
Well,
I'll give you the fucking like region map view for this this worldly decision.
I'd say I would agree that there is some benefit to keeping the infrarush, and there's still a lot to learn. I
Hey,
think
Pat.
one of the biggest things. Hi, Pat.
Hey, sorry about that.
Okay.
Hello,
back.
Pat. Welcome back, Pat.
I'm working on getting a Wi-Fi extender, but until then, welcome to my fireside chat.
Yeah. So, Pat, just to catch you up, you know that even though the rushes of the infrarush are super plentiful, and even though animals that you would consider like natural to the landscape, non-Aratuan ones, can't eat it without getting poisoned, various different Aratus, flora, or is it fauna? No, it's fauna, can consume the rushes. And if you were to, say, have a herd of Aratuan creatures you want to graze, this would be a great place to do that.
And yeah, and we're we're talking about my opinion as an arcanist on whether on what to do with the Aratu. And long story short, I think that it would be worth preserving it, both for study and for resources for the Spire.
And Cass, you seem to have a very strong opinion about this.
I have the same opinion with regards to this Aratu that I have for all Aratus. Because I know what they are. They're blights on the land. They're alien and wrong. Like these shapes that our bodies have been twisted into. Unnatural and must be purged. So that
Now, Cass, I think your shapes are quite lovely, actually.
Oh, well. Oh, what was in chat?
we truly control the environment. Back to something like this land once was. For people. For our humans. Or they're humans. All humans.
Our very normal alien tower, their corrupted alien entity.
Yes. our wonderful sovereign, their evil cult leader.
100% like you're up to here with the Shenta and all other outsiders.
Horrible.
Cass, if I were to hand you a sword of alien make, forged from materials we will never see again, that could strike down any foe, would you cast it aside? Or or would you raise it to protect the Arcspire and those who are most important?
I would use it so long as it serves its purpose and no longer.
I do not wish to let the Infrarush expand as it has. It can be tamed. It can be domesticated for study, for material, perhaps even for expansion into. Those of Pyre seem to be doing quite well along its edges.
Those of Pyre have corrupted even further the already tainted land.
Well, yes, there's no accounting for taste, but I don't suppose they'd listen to us much if we blew it up, would they?
We don't. Right. You're right.
Well, we have unfinished business with them either way. So
It's true.
that's something we'd have to deal with if we preserved the Aratu.
I worry that the people of this particular village, whether we preserve it or not, will be exceedingly unfavorable to us. They're dogmatic and
Yes, that does sound like a very difficult
You just
to
muted
work
that.
with situation.
No, I hear you now. Oh.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, they're dogmatic and they don't listen to reason.
It does sound rather difficult to work with. You do make a good point there. But as I have with you, I'm sure I can impress onto them the importance of cooperation and patient listening. Don't you agree?
Your ways are eccentric. Your viewpoints don't necessarily line up with the with those of the Reclaimers at large, but I do feel as though you make quite a few valid points here. I'm, of course, trying to make sure that we keep our interests at heart, not be swayed.
I am not a reclaimer because I am here to listen to others. I am here to make a difference, as I believe you are as well. I think we all are. And I motion to Renerick.
In our own way.
But fine. We can always return to this if it is no longer serving its purpose.
That's very true. Once plucked, a flower shall never grow again.
All right. Y'all want to roll into town?
Yeah, well, do we want to talk about the conflict with the Artuans at all?
I was thinking we should actually stop by there and say hi to them and see if we can get them to support us. Soft power and all that.
Do you want to take the? Well, they had some pretty hard power to have. Yeah, they'd
An entire
yeah.
army.
soft power, sure. Though, you know, if you're flexing for them, you want to cut around and go say hey.
Yeah, I think
It'll
that'd
take
be
so
great.
it's late in the day now. You'll be closing on sunset if you go over there. You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we've seen that the town is not currently on fire,
Yeah.
so
It's not any particular skill roll at this point. It's a matter of time, but you arrive at the camp of the Aratuans. It is a great and a mighty camp. Many braziers burn, and people have laid out and are cutting up rags, which they are dousing in what appears to be lamp oil. And they are affixing it to the shafts of many, 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 many arrows.
Oh, Jesus.
They are not messing around.
I thought this was ritual. No, they are very unhappy. Okay. Oh, boy. That's going to be fun.
So they are a people who travel, and you, by the way, are carrying in your company an unconscious pyrite woman, very clearly.
Oh, shit. That's fine.
You can have
Yeah,
Eleonora
I
hang
forgot
back.
about that.
You can have Eleonora hang back. I'm just saying,
I think we should have Eleonora hang back. with
Eleonora
the
hangs
unconscious.
back out of sight, out of mind, so that nobody has to ask any awkward questions about why you have an unconscious person from that town with you.
Totally normal. I assure you, totally normal and good reasons.
Yeah, so you arrive in this field where they park their herd. They're grazing on the regular grass. It's all right to them. There are many Artuans here. You come towards the part of the camp. You are heralded, as people say, spy ascent, and recognize your approach. Their leader, a woman of weathered expression, descends from her Tragushi and hails you. There are many Artuans here, and they are whole families as well amongst the 200 children and the elderly. There are perhaps 80 to 90 fully ready combatants who would fight for any reason other than self-defense. There seem to be more than enough arrows for them to rain hell, as it were. They have already many different beasts, some great and massive with tusks and snouts, others lithe and quick, and they appear to be saddling them up. She steps forward, she looks at you, and she says, "Hail, spy ascent, tell me, what clade do you represent?" And she gazes you up and down.
Many.
We
All
are we are in fact a coalition of the clans.
So you have been sent to handle some matter, and traveled together. I see. So,
That we have. We've received word of unusual activity at the Infrarush and have been sent to investigate.
yes.
We
what-
passed through Pyre recently, and it was fairly peaceful, but it seems that something has happened. What's going on?
You've passed through Pyre, and you've gone to investigate the Infrarush. But you walk from the road to the south. Did you leave by another path?
We doubled back.
That we did. The path through the Infrarush is very winding.
Indeed. It is a place that is hard to learn. You spiralings are amongst the only who dare to tread within these places. We respect you for this. Although, she eyes you up, Renrick, and you do have a bit of the Arcanist purple on. Give me a D100 roll right quick, Renrick, as we have a faction influence test.
Oh, snap.
Aw, shucky
Remember, anybody could spend channel points on it right now. They're at 46 presently, 46. So he's trying to bat at or below. At or below, that's a 46% chance of this faction influence roll coming back a success.
Alright. Go ahead and roll. If you want to make any influence, go ahead and do it now.
Oh yeah, alright, so... He says, "You Arcanists, you have a knowledge of the land, a respect for it. That I can admire. Scholars of the Aratu who seek its secrets rather than hating or fearing or fleeing it, or..." And her eyes might
Yes.
linger on your companions wearing the gold with the wreaths, but you know. She comes back to look at you and she says, "I am intrigued by what you might have discovered as you studied it, and as for the so-called peaceful pound of Pyre, I assure you, the existence of that squat is violence. They have done something foul to taint the eternal flame, and it is surely resulting in the strange corruptions and warps of the Infrarush we see now. It's beasts driven to range too far. It's nature grown thin and long in all the wrong places."
Pray tell, and what has Pyre done to make you think that they caused all this?
They have admitted it. And they stated that it was they who cast this slickness of their pact upon the eternal flame. Who tainted the very... Before I would have more words, I would have your name, Spirecent. Tell me, who are you?
Of course. My apologies. My name is Renrick.
And so it is. And so I am compelled to tell you, my name is Avagara, and I am the leader of this caravan. I am entrusted with making the decisions that will ensure that my people see the next springs. And this pyre as it exists cannot persist, though I have been generous in offering them many diplomatic solutions. We cannot coexist with those who would taint our fire.
feel the same way Aratu. Crazy. I don't
Yeah.
think.
You would have gotten flicked on the shoulder.
You and a big old camp full of R-tunes to be talking that much shit for someone with 8 HP, but sure. Yeah.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so Alva seems to have a baseline respect for the Arcanists in your perspective, and she takes you well, Renric, and what do you tell her if your investigation was turned up?
I would say that we did indeed find abnormalities and what have you. We had some trouble finding the source of it. So basically, I would be circumspect. I wouldn't mention any specifics. And try to get her to tell me a little more what she knows about this whole
as you're talking
Blackfire Pact thing.
As you're talking, a really old man walks up. He needs a cane. Based on the liquid pooled there, it looks like he's blind in one eye. He smiles at you kindly. And he says, "Oh, you headed to the flame? I have business there." He is garbed in a different color from everyone else. A beautiful tapestry with white sigils across it on a rich black field. And some children follow behind him at a distance. And some people nearby hang their heads as he goes. And Ava says, "Well," and then she sees the man arrive, and she says, "Oh, I see. Forgive me, but Pyre's presence here disturbs much of our people's ways. Our elders cannot make their journey. Yes, well, it is clear that the font has been tainted. I must approach to perform the proper ritual to purge it. They will not allow me near it. This Galvan is a strange, steely-eyed man. For his speaking of his Blackfire Pact, seems to fear the flame. He stands near it, but never too near. He never had such fear in the face of the eternal flame. Bashful licks. Yes, a strange man indeed. And not one who we trust. He has gathered the wretched of the earth, those who have had everything taken from them, and promised them a new rebirth. But it is a rebirth with riders, conditions. They do not live free. They are shackled, their will turned in their mind by guilt and shame, and so-called sin. They do not live with the land as we do. They do not accept it as it is. They seek ever impositions upon nature and upon their own natures. It is, I must say, a terrible way to live. I do not seek to judge other cultures, but this man is a huckster, a fake. I sense a strange steeliness behind even his eyes. Not glassware into the soul, but mirrors that reflect a dull thorn. Something is wrong there, my intuition tells me. Nothing of the fire that they speak of, when those we arrived into the region told us of, preaching of Galvan, the living flame within his breast. When I heard of that man, I hoped I might treat with him. But this one, cold, dead, like foreign alien steel. This is the extent of what I know, but I tell you this, to even restrain my people as long as I do, and to make this offering, she gesticulates to a series of packages and crates. It looks like there is a week's food for the town piled up at its exit, offered by the Aratuans to the people of Pyre as a get the fuck out fee. She says simply, I have stayed their hand as long as they will. I am not a dictator. I have not chained the minds of my people, as at Galvan. I do not feed them false precepts. We know the ways. Though I am the leader, that means accepting the will of the people. And our people cannot accept this. Those who would taint the land, they are like weeds. And though I am not a gardener, I know what must be done to a weed. Although,
I see.
I do hope... I do hope to find a flower by another name there. I do not think this Galvan I see will prove a blossomed heart with which to treat. We could benefit much from a permanent trading post by our yearly resting spot. It does not seem they will turn to that purpose. Shame. Symbiosis would have been a beautiful new start. Instead,
Might trading post ally itself with, or might such a trading post for one to arise allied with the Spire potentially be of support?
certainly, we are happy to do business with the Arcspire, as we intend to come and trade with you once we are done with our ritual and grazing here. Our herds need to replenish, and we will wick and store many of the rushes. The Infrarush is ever a bountiful river to us, and it nurtures our herd. It is why ours has grown so strong and fresh, year after year. That and the blessings, of course, of the Eternal Flame.
I see. Well, I must admit, what you've told us is quite troubling. What is it that you do with the Eternal Flame each year, by the way?
Ala looks at the old man, and the old man looks at her, and she looks at you, and she says, "We pray, we offer, we give thanks, we make requests, we worship it, we understand it. The Eternal Flame is not just a place. It is something that can be found with any who clear their minds, ask for its guidance. It burns amidst the void and destroys all distraction. A pure thing. The flame of the heart. Flame of the Infrarush. And when we seek to go to the fields of stars, she looks over at the old man, and his robe to you seems now a pitch-black void of space, and its white sigils constellations. And he seems very old. When you think of the life of the Aratuan, you cannot imagine a man like him can survive many Aratus. He is old and feeble, and he has trouble walking even with a cane.
Ah, got it. Funeral pyre.
It should seem as you look around that there are many crying. There are the children who wish to spend more time with him. There are his children who have grown old and aged, who respect that it is his time to go, but who clearly show mourning in their eyes. Yes, it is clear to you, without words exchanged. This man intends to die in that fire, and when you gaze upon him, you see a soul of bounty. He has lived a full life of generosity. He is a river to his people. Indeed, when you gaze upon him, you see the bountiful soul.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
Choices.
I like the sound of that.
Not sure what this entails yet.
And he says, my dear Spiacent, I have seen you many times in your travels, and aided not a few of your friends. Tell me, would you do an old man the privilege of cleaning up that fire, and letting an old man tread to the stars? He coughs up hard, and he racks, and, like, some people rushed him, but he holds back his hand, sinking to his knees, recovering, saying, it's just a little... And you see his blood has flecks of orange that he just spit up all over his sleeve and fist. That's not normal.
That's not normal.
You suspect that he's not even just old and frail, he's ill with something. The Aratuans sometimes find things intended to blight humans that they have no way around other than to dodge to begin with. They're paranoid, they have 10-foot poles, they do all the tricks to avoid traps, but sometimes you just get got. And, you see his beard is stained with orange-flecked blood. He smiles at you, offering what strength he can in his old age, but, despite the vigor of his soul, his body is not long for this cruel world. He's running out of time. He wants his funeral.
Good sir. We will do everything we can.
And, the bountiful soul says, oh, Many things have been done. Many things are possible, but tell me, will you give me your word, Renric Carver of the Arcanists? Will you show that your people of tradition, your clade, respect ours? This much? I tell you, my people are good friends to have. And we will soon be trading with you.
Ooh,
Big deals.
public commitment, huh?
Yeah, a whole camp of 200 people are
Public
looking at you,
commitment.
Renric. They're looking at the robes of your sigil. They're looking at the symbols upon you that mark you as an Arcanist upon your word. You are the avatar of the Arcanist here. Thank you, Veronique, for the 2 waters. Are you gonna put it all on the line? Give your word?
I will give my word.
Very well. With an Arcanist word like yours, content. He goes back to the kids and the families one last time for a group hug, as Ava steps forward and says, "I appreciate you, but you must understand, you've just publicly offered your word. If that flame is not cleansed and he does not step into it, my people's opinion of the Arcspire will not be the same when we roll into trade soon. But if you act
I
swiftly
understand.
and decisively, perhaps much bloodshed will be avoided, and we will be able to restore things to a rightful order. Now tell me, Renric Carver, what can I do to help ensure that this does not become a bloodbath?"
Well, in truth, we did discover something unusual and unexpected in the Infrarush. And what I'd like to, before I say anything else, I would like to discuss with the rest of the, with my group, how best to move forward. But suffice it to say, I believe we do have the means to fulfill my promise. And I would basically move toward having a private meeting with Vivienne and Cass.
Okay. Do we want to
Okay.
be, have our private meeting, decide on what we're doing, and then, start our course of action before ending, Lee? I don't know what you want narrative-wise, but it would be cool to leave on a cliffhanger like that. Oh, I can't hear you, Lee.
I was hard unmuted. That was on me. Okay, it's 9:20. Fool's Moon. Thank you very much for sponsoring the stream. But yeah, if you guys want to have a lightning round consensus and then walk into town, yeah.
Okay. All right. Shall we?
So, without my magic, I can't be much of a combatant. But I'd say we body the current head of the village. There's something clearly going on right there. But past that, we throw a soul in the fire, and that old man ends up in there as well at some point. Whether or not he's the soul we use, we can decide later.
Yeah. So I think we have the means to just go in there and get it resolved. We should have the strength to overpower Galvan himself, and I know that the people of the Pyre have not been happy with how things have been going. So if we, if we topple the leadership, then I don't expect there'll be too much more resistance past that.
We should.
There'll also be there's also the possibility that we can just talk our way through it. That there won't need to be any fighting at all. But either way, I think we have our bases covered.
I think Galvan needs to die, but we can work on the rest of the people in town. Perhaps Cascar might see reason. Cascar insinuated a lack of trust as well. I think the position of gas whatever is
Galvan.
Galvan is a tenuous one at the moment, barring mind control, I can't see how he can possibly maintain the populace's hearts in this current predicament. So I propose that one of the more eloquent of us, maybe Vivienne,
Yes.
maybe also Renrick, I'm not sure, pitches a more subtle request, and well, we carry the big stick that I am in the back.
Yes. I don't mind Vivienne speaking here. You've proven quite effective with your diplomacy.
Thank you very much. I try.
All right. All right.
That's a plan, I'd say.
So we wander in through the front.
You approach. Yeah, you want to roll in there right now, yeah?
I don't know when you're pulling the plug, but I wouldn't be against it.
All right.
Yeah.
So the party descends 3 abreast into town, and you see that Galvan is standing at the foot of the stone. Everybody's gathered around, and they seem to be drinking of the well water communally.
Oh, that's a bad.
And as you do this, as you bad hombres walk in, the sun lilting overhead, Lyra the Liemaker nowhere to be seen. You feel as if though, with the sheriff and the mayor at the far end of town, everybody having their drink of the Kool-Aid, looking over at you, like you could be in a Western movie.
Oh boy.
We are in danger.
Yeah.
Surely this will end in
You've all got your hands by your hips. Ooh, not the land.
man.
Oh, my baby loves the Western movies. All right, thank you, Fool's Moon Entertainment, for making this stream
And
possible.
scene.
We've run over a bit.
This is beautiful. Holy shit.
And
Oh boy.
this will surely end well. Next week, we'll hopefully have Rainbow for episode 5, which is probably going to be the end of the first Arkspire adventure, but not the last of the Arkspire adventures. And yeah, this is awesome. Thank you all for coming out. We had a great time. Fool's Moon Entertainment is an indie tabletop role-playing game company. I really suggest you go check them out. They've got a Discord. They've got every basic media platform you could think of. Snow Dogs, thank you for coming out. Big ups. And yeah, we've had a great time. Oh, Snow Dogs. Yeah, radio DJ. But yeah, you roll up, shooting up the land, and yeah, I think that this is going to be one hell of a Western movie here. You just walked in, it's time for some bad hombres to see what they're going to say and how the shootout's going to go.
I have no spells.
Yeah, you walked into the Western town with your revolver dry. You can bluff them.
Yeah, I better be able to argue around that.
Yeah.
It's pretty persuasive. I'm sure these people drinking death Kool-Aid will be absolutely, willing to receive
Exceptionally amenable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
exceedingly.
So, yeah, I mean, we kind of like
This can only go well.
we hard pan on a gunshot over to like a galloping Artuan creature through a backlit silhouette of like black line work on infrarush background to say next time on Arkspire. Your plus and your
nice.
plus for everyone left to right as I see it. Pat, favorite part, just one plus, and then looking forward to plus.
Okay, wait. Can it all just be the fucking ending?
The ending? Okay, the ending is what you like.
No, it's genuine. Alright, so I think I'm outspoken in regards to how much I enjoyed the ending. Let's say I want more of seeing the resolution to this incredible cliffhanger. My favorite part was probably the communion with the oil beast and the revelations that came along with it. Very good shit.
Okay, that was 2, but we'll let it slide. Goop. All right, Goop me.
I'd say my plus was the sort of like stumbling on new discoveries, the sort of like, you know, like things happening outside of our control. I like that the world isn't static, and I like that there's developments that we haven't quite got our heads around yet, even while we're trying to do other things. And I'd say my plus would be I had one for this. I think it was getting to be a suave diplomat, and actually, you know, chatting up monsters and just being like, "Hello, you." And having to wonder about like who we're gonna throw in the fire, like what soul we're gonna use.
So who we're gonna throw in the fire is your plus?
Yes.
Great. And Javi, hit me with this is the lightning round feedback to get onto the raid. Javi, hit me with it. What is your plus and your plus?
So I think my favorite was also the oil beast. It was weird and wonderful, and unexpected. And it was also just the way it was resolved was also cool. The plus, I think, was getting to see more factions and more like I think is kind of what Goop was saying of the world interacting and existing outside of us and our actions.
Yeah, and your actions are gonna push back and have a great effect depending on what you do here. What soul goes in, and which of the two binary choices you make, heal or destroy. And you now have access. You went from 0 to 2 souls on hand, so you know. Actually, yeah.
Well, I guess we have some extras when we're done.
I think the old man is hanging back a little because he's not. His senses haven't left him fully yet. He knows it's about to go down. He didn't want to get dusted up before he could hop in a purified flame.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the wrap. Thank you all for coming out again. Full moon! Links. Thank you so much, Pat. I have a raid target unless you have a strong preference.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you everyone for coming out. Remember, we have a Discord channel for this. If you want to come around and talk about it, shoot the shit with the cast and me, talk about what you might want to do next. When we want to see this go, I'm going to raid St. Stella. They seem like some cool folks playing some tabletop games. I will catch you on the flip side. Till then, stay dreamy, dreamers. And remember, my baby loves the Western movies. Alright, let's go.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Invalid username. Fuck. Oh, I put a period at the end of it. I fucking juked you with the unexpected outro song. The song is very familiar to watchers of the Fallout stream, though.
I was gonna say I got that vibe.
This is straight up from the Fallout radio, yeah. Alright. Peace. I've hit raid now.